Hey guys, okay, if you saw my title at the top, then I've caught your attention, and that's kind of a good thing because I have some information that I want to share with you today that I think can be really helpful for so many of us. I know for me, when I learned this information, it was extremely helpful for me as well, and so I wanted to share it with you today. If you have had any of these following symptoms, if you want to call them, then this video will relate to you. If you have ever struggled to lose weight or to keep weight off, if you've lost it and it comes back, if you've ever struggled to get food off your mind, like if it's constantly on your mind, you're always wondering what you're going to eat next, what your next meal is going to be. If you are struggling to burn fat, like no matter how hard you work out, you still have those places on your body that you're unhappy with, that you're holding on to fat with. If you have ever gone through those cravings where you're really craving something sugary or something that's a carb loaded meal or snack. If you have ever had struggles with hypoglycemia, or if you have those dips in energy during the day, any of those things, I'm talking to you. And I think so many of us have had that, either a combination of those things or all of them, quite frankly, throughout our lives. And when you have those symptoms, you are what is called a sugar burner. And I want to explain what a sugar burner is. It basically means that your body is dependent or addicted to, because it really truly is, fueling itself on sugar or glucose. Carbs also turn into glucose in your body. And so if you are a sugar burner, all those things that I just talked about are you. And that means that your body is just dependent on those things in order to survive. And the American diet is filled with sugary, carb-loaded things. So that is why the majority of us walk around as sugar burners. We're burning sugar rather than fat. Now, I will tell you that this is 100% where I was, and sometimes where I still am. It's a battle to get through this, but I used to be completely obsessed with what I was going to eat. Like, I would always be worrying about making sure that I had a snack with me and taking a snack in the car and making sure I knew what the next meal was going to be. And I don't mean just like prepping, like you need to be aware so you're not grabbing things at the last minute. I mean like obsessed, like we're leaving the house and I have to have snacks with me because I might get hungry. We're going to be gone for 2 hours. That's kind of ridiculous, but that's because my body was burning sugar, because I was eating, for me, not so much, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I was a sugar person, but for me, it was more of the carb-loaded diet that I was really focused on. And when I did a detox back in May, it helped me realize that my body was actually addicted to those sugars, addicted to those carbs. It is a true addiction, just like any drug. So I'm not telling you this to feel bad. I'm telling you this because you need to be aware of what's happening in your body and know that you're totally normal, but that it can change. What we want to be is we want to be a fat burner. We want our bodies to burn fat instead of sugar and carbs. And back in the day when we had our original ancestors, the hunters, the gatherers, they were fat burners. That is why they did not have the same types of health problems that we have now. They were not obese. They did not struggle with all the autoimmune diseases and things that we have, and heart disease and cancers. They weren't there because their diets allowed them to burn fat. The difference between the two is our bodies were genetically designed to be fat burners. That's how we were created, and that's how we were made. We should be burning fat for fuel to give us energy and not sugar. So what happens is and I've got some notes in front of me because I don't want to miss any of this, and I also don't want to talk forever. I want to be quick about this. But our diet that we live in now, the standard American diet, is high carbohydrate. It's a grain-based diet, and that has given us that dependency on carbohydrates for energy, and it has allowed us to not be able to burn fat, which is why we hold on to the fat no matter how hard we work out or how much we do. A high carbohydrate diet also produces a lot of insulin, makes our sugar levels spike all the time. So our sugar levels always spiking, and then we feel that crash when it comes down. So we eat something with carbs or sugar, we get that boost of energy, we spike our insulin, and then we crash again. And that's what leads to us feeling good then not good. Good, then not good. Having energy, having not energy. And we're constantly reaching for those. Then we become addicted and dependent on them. And it has been shown, studies have shown that addiction to sugar is the same in our brains. Our brain reacts to sugar much as a drug addict who's on cocaine reacts to it. They've done studies that shown there's really no difference what happens, the signals within our brain, whether somebody is taking cocaine or somebody is taking sugar. It is that addictive. So there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to understand what's happening inside your body so that you can work to fix it. What has happened then is that we, in order to sustain that mental clarity or sustain that energy level, we keep reaching for those things. And that includes grain-infused diets, because grains are also a big problem because they promote inflammation in the body, which leads to a lot of those chronic diseases. And grains, gluten, that is what is in a lot of those things that we crave. Here's an interesting fact that I wanted to share. Humans can live their entire lives without ever eating a single carbohydrate, but we could not survive without protein and fat. That's pretty amazing. Like, if you think about that, we literally could survive. And you might say, oh my gosh, I can't survive. If you would have told me that, I'd be like, no, I can't. I need my carbs. But our bodies are not meant to have them, and that's the point in that. And so in order for us to become fat burners, that means we need to eat diets that are higher in vegetables, which goes against things that we used to learn. If you remember that pyramid that came out from the American government, like, I don't know how many years ago, but at the bottom, we were supposed to have like 6 to 11 servings of grain. So backward and wrong. That bottom of that pyramid should be vegetables. We should be eating mostly vegetables, plant-based diet. We should also be eating good sources of protein, lean, healthy meats, eggs, things that give us protein, nuts. We should be eating fruit. That should be our form of sugar in the natural form, although not a ton of fruit. You know, limit that to like 3 servings a day. And then we should be eating healthy fats, really, like coconut oil, olive oil, avocado. Nuts are a good source of healthy fats. Those are the things that we should not be afraid of, because that is what our body should be taking and burning for energy. And if you are eating the right amounts of those things, your body will burn that for energy, and those cravings for carbs and sugars will go away. Now, there's a lot more that I have to say on this topic that I don't want to get into today. I will probably do that tomorrow, come back in and give you some ideas of foods you can eat and how specifically you can start to become a fat burner versus a sugar burner, because it is possible to do it. Now, I will say it's not an easy thing. When you are addicted to eating a certain way, it takes a lot of training. But when I work with people, that's why we don't just go all in. We don't just say, okay, you're not having any more sugar, we're totally cutting this out, we're totally cutting that out. That doesn't work for human beings. You can't just take stuff away. You have to slowly replace, and it's a process. And so you slowly take out one thing and put in something better for it. And then once you get that into a nice habit, then you start in another area of your life. For me, if you would have told me back in the day that I had to quit drinking Diet Coke and have no caffeine cold turkey, I would have probably thought you were crazy. But it was a slow change that I made. I slowly started to replace that Diet Coke by, first of all, reducing the size. And then from there, I reduced how many I had a day, and I would slide in some unsweetened iced tea in place of it. And when that became more of a habit, then I started to slowly dwindle and cut it back to eventually I can go caffeine free. I'm not dependent on caffeine, and I haven't had a Diet Coke in almost 2 years. But that's not something that just happens overnight. Same thing with if you're used to eating a carb-loaded diet, you're not just going to all of a sudden eat all vegetables. You have to work on that, and it has to be a process. And that's something that I work with people on, about how to slowly, it's not about taking things away from you and making you feel deprived, it's about replacing and doing that over time in a pattern that is fitting for you. So I have a lot more to say on this, but I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. So just know that I will be coming back at you probably tomorrow with some information about the types of foods you can eat and how you can slowly convert your body from a sugar burner into a fat burner. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to post below, and I'm more than happy to give you some more information, send you a message. If I don't know the answer, I will look it up and try and get back to you on that. I'm just trying to learn or teach you as I learn so that we can all learn together and be healthier and happier. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Talk to you soon.